Wagwan Media. Welcome, Ja. Okay, we're coming in warm, nice and warm with another story. We're gonna do the story randomizer and see what we get today. Dice roller. I wanted this story. It's not really well, it's a story. You know what? We'll have a 2-for-1 special because this is actually a story I wanted to relay from David Blaine. David Blaine was on I think, what's that? Man, I forget the, I'll link him. I'll link the podcast in the description. What's that? When the one with French Montana is like, get the crust out your eyes. Oh no, it's not even French Montana. What the heck is it? Get the crust out your eyes. The intro of it. And it's the guy who always wears the big brown Rasta hat, usually. Anyway, David Blaine's telling a story. And it goes like this. It's very cool, and I thought I should relay it because it's very inspiring to the capabilities and the potential and the kinetics of humans and beings and life itself. So, and then I'll rerun. So I'll tell this one quick so we could tell another story. But we'll call this story The Dice Roller. And there was a young boy who would go to casinos, and if you know, casinos are run by mafia sometimes, mobs and gangsters, and a lot of the time the house wins, and a lot of the time they'll know if you're doing something fishy or doing something to win on purpose. You know, they'll know if you're like cheating or they'll know if you have an advantage. So, I'm gonna pause here because I'm gonna go relay this, go check this story out. So anyway, I'm sure some of you, all of you, however many of you have seen the movies 21 or, Rain Man, casino movies in the same style where there's card counters or cheaters or advantage takers, loophole finders, hackers of the casinos. And there's always those eyes in the sky, and the dudes will take you downstairs and beat your ass, break your arms if they catch you cheating or even suspect, or if you win like a certain amount of money that's too much, they will automatically just say you're cheating, or you're getting kicked out now, so you can't so anyway, there's this 12-year-old young lad who had grand aspirations and grand goals in life, and they just could be some ordinary goals, because it seems anyone can do such things as this. It's very inspirational. I love this story. So this 12-year-old moves to Las Vegas, and I'm unsure why. I think maybe he wanted to get tips, but because he knew about the greatest card cheat on Earth. Maybe, I don't know if it was on Earth, but he knew about this guy and he wanted to meet him, I guess to gain knowledge and advice and wisdom and skill and techniques and methods. And this card cheat was just needed to not die. That's why he wanted to be the greatest card cheat, not to impress people, but he just needed to not be caught. So I guess this was the inspiration. But this 12-year-old kid, then bought a craps table and moved with his mom in an apartment. I guess it was just their way of how they wanted to make money in their life. And there's infinite amount of ways to make money, but this is how they chose to. So this kid would throw dice in this craps table that he had in his apartment with his mom. Apparently for 15 hours a day, he would throw dice at such a precise way, with such laser focus and such repetition and such memory and such skill, that he could eventually, for 15 hours a day every day, but this is what the story said. This is what David Blaine said, because David Blaine apparently actually knows this guy. Like, he knows these two people, and it was actually Joe Rogan. It was Joe Rogan. You can just stop this right now and just search David Blaine, Joe Rogan, dice story. But anyway, or you could listen to this, or you could listen to both. Anyway, so this kid, 15 hours a day for 10 years at least, or 9 years at least, something like that, would throw these dice. And eventually, like, that's a lot of practice, right? That's a lot of focus. So he could eventually throw these dice at such an exact way that they would land on the numbers he wanted. I know, right? Like he would spin them. He would throw them in like a one-dimensional spin, so they would just land. So if he had the one facing up, he would throw it so the one would stay facing up. But, he would throw them like David Blaine said he would throw them like a helicopter spin, and this would let them look like they're spinning in the air, But, I mean, now that this story's out, I don't even know. I don't know how they could. You think casinos would have now high-speed cameras? See if people are helicopter spinning their die? Anyway, so yeah, that's what that kid did. And after 10 years, he's like, okay, mama, I'm gonna make us money now. And he went to every casino across America, whatever, and easily won whatever the hell amount before he had to leave. Cool, eh? And that's super inspirational. Like, I think that's so inspirational. Like, you could learn how to walk on water. Practice for 10 years, 15 hours a day. Anyway, let's do another story, shall we? Take a sip of the lager. Random. Okay. This one. This is a drug story. This is a trip story. And it was super crazy. This is one of those stories that's just like, what the heck? So, I was doing the time machine, I think. Yes, I was in 1969 writing the song. So, of course, I had to do some LSD. Because for this album, and every decade I go to, I also do that popular drug that was part of the decade. So, for the 60s, it's acid, and then I write the song. For 2020s, it was Xanax or lean, Molly. Or for the 70s, yayo. Or, for the 50s, coffee and cigarettes, and a little bit of the wacky tobacco and a marijuana cigarette, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm on acid and I'm just chilling, and I'm in the basement, and then I get up and I do a weird arm. I'm sitting on the couch and I get up and I do a weird arm movement. I think I might have swung my arm around in a circle, because sometimes I do that to stretch. But at this time, I swung my arm around in a weird... I just kicked the mic cord out. But this time I swung my arm around in such a weird circle, my right arm, that right at the shoulder, where the joint is, the tendon. So the outside of the shoulder, just the what would I call that? I was telling my friend, I was telling Gusty baby, and he said, "Oh, the rotator cuff. You might f up your rotator cuff." But it's like, so if you go down your neck, down the right side of your neck, right on the top of your shoulder, the very right of your right shoulder, so the furthest right of your right shoulder, something like a tendon. It felt like a tendon just like stretched over the bone and was like stretched like an elastic, like wrong. Oh my. The pain was some next level pain. I just like, I'm trying to express right now. Like I just dude, it was like so I was trying to move. I'm like, oh my god. I'm trying to move my arm. I'm trying to pop. I don't even know. Like, I don't know what I was trying to pop back in. Something. I was trying to fix it. I was trying to just move it around and fix it, or pop the tendon. It just felt like a tendon was stretching over something. Like say you had like guitar strings, okay? And then one of the guitar strings gets caught on like a nail. Or okay, when you're gonna hang a picture, and you have the string on the back, and you gotta put it on the nail. So when it's off the nail, it's like loose. It's just a loose string. But then when you put it on the nail, it's like stretched, right, into a triangle. It was like that, like a tendon like stretched over a bone or something. That's what it felt like. And I was tripping. I'm on acid, and this is like the craziest pain. And I can't fix it. I just can't fix it. And I'm trying to remember if... Actually, now I'm trying to remember if this happened before I... Oh, man, now I have to say this part. I don't know if this was the same day. If this was the same day, that's even crazier. But anyway. Okay. So... Okay, now we have to go back. If it's not the same day, I don't care. It was somewhere near this day. So, and I'm pretty sure it was probably the same drug trip. It was probably the same trip. So we'll go back to... We have to rewind. This is a big rewind to when I was like... What age are you in grade 8? It's like 14, 13. And one day I just decided in my bed, I'm going to sleep directly on my side, on my right side, like a plank of wood that's just on its right side, like a coin standing on its edge, a 2x4 standing on the thinner side. And I slept like that all night. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I wanted to do this experiment. But I woke up and my shoulder was decompressed into my rib cage. And from 13 until whenever that drug trip was, which was probably 2016, maybe? 2016, 2017. I couldn't lift the right arm above my head without massive pain in my shoulder. And like obviously from 13 to whatever the age, 23, 24, I don't know. Wait, no, that would be about 25. About 24, yeah. 25, 24. I'm like, this is chronic. Like I really f***ed it up. It felt like the bone, the cartilage in between the joints of the shoulder bone and the arm bone were rubbing against each other. That's what it was. Like every time I would move up to a certain point, it was rubbing. I could hear it, feel it. It was just pain. So anyway, I'm thinking it's chronic until this drug trip when I'm 24, and I'm starting to get into like, you know, you could like heal your body with your own mind and your own physical, emotional, energetic, basically happiness or chemical reconstruction, refocusing. And so I'm on this drug trip and I'm sitting there and I'm on ass just chilling on the couch, and I have my arms up on the back of the couch just like spread out like that, and I'm like, I'm gonna fix this arm. And I just thought and sent focus to in between the joint and the in between that joint and the whatever the frick shoulder blade and the not the shoulder blade, just the joint, that shoulder joint. Yeah, okay, that's what it's called. Just call it a shoulder joint. So I just send focus between the shoulder joint, and all I feel is fluids just fill it up, and it pops out, and I can move it again. There's still pain, but it's just pain from the bruising of all those years of moving it like that. But in between the joint feels like it's like lubed up again, and I'm like, holy crap, it's pumped up. Anyway, perfect now. Like the bruising went away. It's perfect now. That's gone. Perfect. So I think it's the same drug trip. I think it's the same day. Pretty sure. So then I get up and I start like being excited about it. And I'm like moving my arm around like in a circle. And yeah, that's when the whatever happened, maybe rotator cuff, whatever Gusty Baby said, or tendon pulled or something, and it was the craziest pain upon existence. And I'm trying to fix it because like I can't even breathe. Like I can't even breathe. I'm on acid, and I'm trying to take breath. I'm like, what the? Like, you know that pain? You know, you're just winded from not even getting hit in the chest. It's just like, what the hell's am I gonna die right now? And then I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm like, dude. It was like the entire cosmic existence of life was that tendon, was that pain. Everything was like a spiral. It was like golden ratio spiral right into the center point. It was that. It was just hyper focus, like the ultimate pinpoint accuracy laser. So I'm just like, dude, what the hell? I start texting Gusty Baby. I'm like, Gusty Baby, what in the frick? I'm on acid right now, and I like spun my arm, and the pain is the greatest thing upon life. And he's like, oh dude, I think you just pulled your rotator cuff. I'm like, I don't know, but and then like, dude, I just stop texting for a bit, and I sit there just like accepting the pain and just having a trip about it. And all of a sudden it starts going deeper and deeper into this pain, and it was like I became the entire earth, and what pain was in me what pain was happening was a certain part on earth where that same amount of pain was happening. Like, so the very pinpoint part of the pain, and then the surrounding area. So there's one pinpoint in my shoulder blade or one pinpoint in the joint that's like the 100% point of the pain, and then like a little radius around it, there's like 80% of the pain, and then more of a bigger radius around it is 70%, and then like until there's no pain, not like 3 meters in front of me, or there's no pain in my toes. You know what I'm saying? So there's like an environment of pain that like fades away, but there's a pinpoint of the pain, and that pinpoint was somewhere on earth, and it was like in my mind. I don't know if it was real. I don't know if I was literally like seeing something happening. It looked like it was like LA or New York or something, or maybe somewhere else, but it was just like there was an deep, ancient, dark alley, gritty and grimy, somewhere deep in an urban city. I don't know if you've ever played the game The Warriors on the Xbox or whatever, PS2, and you go to those like basically every level, but like the levels with like the dark, deep, gritty ass alleys where everyone's getting their asses kicked. It was like that, and this was all happening. This was connected to this pain in my arm. And then there's just, these cholos, and it's like showing me a story, and these cholos are like walking up, and these two chola girls are like, oh, what's going on? And these two guys are like, crucifixion. And they're just like punching their fists into their hands, crucifixion, And I'm like, crucifixion, what's that mean? And then they all meet up in an alley, and they all make a circle, and it's like no one knows what's gonna happen. Well, like there's a few people who know what are gonna happen, but most of the people don't know what's gonna happen. But everyone knows someone's getting the crucifixion. So there's like 10 or 11 guys. They all just converge in this deep, dark, gritty ass alley, and they all circle, make a circle, and then they just start poking. They poke a guy. One guy gets poked with a knife, and then everyone goes for it. Like, okay, this is who's getting crucified, right? And then poke, and then he jumps jumps away from that knife, and then this guy on his left pokes him, and he jumps away, and then this guy behind him pokes him, and he jumps away from that, and then they're all just like he's in the middle of a circle, like bouncing from knife to knife, and he's like, he's just taking it because he has to. He's just surrounded by these people poking him. They're not like aggressively stabbing him. They're just like, but casually just like click, and then he bounces to the next like click, and it's so casual. But this is the guy getting crucified, whoever it is. And then he falls to the ground after he gets stabbed a bit, and this is all connected to this shoulder, right? This pain in the shoulder. So like the pinpoint pain part is this guy getting stabbed. The radius is like the gritty alley, the environment, because that's pain too. Like that was like a very painful looking environment to live in, and then it goes more and more. Anyway, so then he falls to the ground eventually because he's gotten stabbed too much. He was like shirtless. He had a long ponytail. The other guys were just dressed in whatever t-shirts. And then when he falls to the ground, like whoever knew, I guess the guy who, like two like ringleaders, I guess it was like gang stuff. I don't know what the guy did. He must have done something to get crucified, And then like the ringleader guy took like a big 2x4 and just went bah to his face one time, really hard, and then The other guy bent down and just slit his throat. And they were like, that's it, crucifixion. And then this guy's dying. This is all happening in my head, or like my mind, or like the consciousness. I'm either making it all up, or I was connecting to some actual event that was actually happening. I'm not sure. I've been practicing if to discern these type of things, because I've been I there has been times where I've had a crazy imagination and thinking it's me actually telepathically, psychically knowing what's going on, and it's wrong, and it can drive you crazy. So upon practice and discern, fellows, decide, because you can ruin relationships, and you can ruin your mental health, and you can bring about things into your life that you don't want. Anyway, so it was intense to say the least, and it was just like kind of like this is a culture, like this happens. I was like, whoa, like it kind of like slapped me, like there's things like this that happen. And I was just like, but I don't know if this stuff happened. Like, I don't know if I'm making this up. If I made this crazy scenario up in my head, or like this is actually a ritual that actually happens in these gangs. So when he's dying, then he starts having his whatever DMT trip, his afterlife trip, and he starts like, then I start seeing what he's seeing as he's dying, and it's like all these like Maristruchas 13, how do you say it? Whatever, man, these cholo gangsters, and there's like eyes rolled back in their head with the bandana tied, slick back greased hair, black t-shirt, and they have their arms out like zombies, and like, and there's like barrels burning with fire, and it's just like it's just like his like dying trip, and they're like coming at him like this is his life. Zombies, like zombie cholos. They're not zombie cholos, but they're like just super devilish, demon like cholo, devil horn stuff. And then he comes out of that plane, and then I start seeing his life flashing before his eyes, and it shows him as a young kid. He's like 3, 4, and he has his mom and his dad are just like standing there happy, and his dad has a white tank top on, and his mom is just a ordinary lady. They look very young. They look like they're like 18, 19-year-old parents, and they're standing at the front door of their house, inside, like in the foyer of their house. And then the parents disappear, and then boxes are stacked up in front of the door. They replace the parents, and it's like these are images I'm seeing, but with the images are coming like knowledge, like wordless storytelling. Like, okay, so the parents are getting a divorce now, and that's why the boxes are here, because they have to move out. And then the door is open, then the box door is just wide open, no one's there. And then the young boy is all of a sudden looks like he's 7 now, and he's on the streets, and he has dirty clothes, dirty face, everything's ripped, and he's just this young boy on the streets, in the alleys, talking to homeless people and raccoons, like hanging out with the raccoons and stuff. And he just seems like he seems like he's just like, is this his life, I guess? Like, it seems like he's happy, but not really knowing what else there could be. But he does know what else there can be. And then from there, he grows up and ends up in collusion with these gangsters, these guys. And you can't really call them gangsters. It's not like this super organized crime ring like La Cosa Nostra and The Godfather. It's just guys who just are also on the streets, and they need to do this to survive. And it doesn't show exactly why he got crucified, but then he got crucified. And then it repasses the crucifixion, and then his body starts raising from that environment, and then I'm just like kind of like sitting on the couch, just like in a way praying for him, like you're gonna be okay, this like you're gonna be happy, like I wish eternal and ultimate happiness upon you. And then his body raises into me, like he's like sitting in me, his like spirit, his soul, from toe to head and to fingertips to the chest and everything and the arms. He's like in me, and I was taking it as like he's raising into like levels of joy. So like I would like perceive where he had been in that alley, and the life he had lived was not as happy and luxurious and comfortable as where I was sitting on a couch in a beautiful house on LSD alone, where my parents are out of town, and I get the whole house to myself. And I got all the weed and all the food and all the light and all the electricity and all the, heat and shelter I want, and the love. And I felt like it was like he was coming from that to like different levels of heavens, and then he got to sit in me and like feel what it's like to be like in that kind of a life. And then I was just texting Gander the whole time too, or I was Gusty Baby, and I was texting Gusty Baby, and I was telling him about this, and I'm like, dude, I remember telling him like what I was seeing, and then I remember him sitting in me, and he was sitting in me for a while, and I could really feel it. And it could just be a super hype imagination, but it felt like he was there. But since that day, the experiences I've had of like such things were hallucinations, and they felt so real, but they weren't. So I could have been making it up. But I'm texting Gusty Baby, and I'm like, dude, he's like sitting in me. I don't want him to. Like, I was kind of just like, I don't want him to like stay here. I was like getting scared because like I'm like, I have precious energy. I don't want him to like, I don't want this other like person in me like all day, every day. I don't know if he's gonna stay here. What if he stays here? Like, what if I start like becoming him? And then when I said that stuff, I felt this soul of him getting like sad. Oh shit, I don't belong here. And then he like left me and raised up and went even higher. He went to some other heaven. He went to a happier place. And I was like, well, I'm happy for him. And I also felt bad, like, and I was also like, damn, I want to go with you now. Nah, I'm happy though. And yeah, that was pretty weird. And then here's the punchline of the story. Then I am about 3 weeks later, just chilling on YouTube on the computer. And I don't know, I think I searched like fights or something, or maybe I didn't even search anything. But like I wasn't searching anything about gangsters or anything like that. Like this experience was not in the search bar. And out of nowhere, in the recommended, I see, dude, if I could ever find that video again, that'd be crazy, but I just see like 14 people, and they're all in white t-shirts, and they're all in a basement. And dude, it could have been like 20 people, it looked like. it was just like this random long title of a fight video title, and it was really long. It was like gang names and shit. So I clicked it, and what is it? It's a crucifixion in the exact same style, not with knives though. So there's a camera just somewhere in this basement, and a bunch of guys start walking down. There's already some guys in this basement, and this looks like one of those unfinished basements. And they're all these cholo guys. They got the sunglasses on, you know what I mean, essay. They're essays. And they all come, and you could tell nobody knows what the hell's going on. Like, people know what's going on, but nobody knows what's going on. It's basically like someone's getting slapped, but we don't know who it is. And they all come down the stairs. Some people are already down there, and they all just form a circle. They're all just walking slowly, and every, like, I think maybe not every single one of them, but you could tell there's two or three guys who are like the heads of it, because when the circle formed with, like, I guess the foot soldiers or like the other guys, there was like these three managers or four guys who would like stand off to the side just talking in their own little group. But anyway, so they all form a circle, and then the big manager guy with the ponytail, and he's got the black jacket. Most of them had white t-shirts, but this one had the black puff jacket. They all got their baggy pants. They look like homies, like the homie toys you put in the coin machines. Anyway, one guy's just walking slowly around the circle, like duck, 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 duck. And they all have their backs. They're all facing into the circle, and this manager guy, or the head of the gang, whatever, is walking behind them all. Duck, 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 and he's not saying duck, 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 but it looks like that. And then goose, pop, pop, pop. He just starts kidney punching one guy, and then everyone's just like, oh, it's this guy. Okay, boom, boom, and then everyone's just beating this one guy's ass. And I'm like, dude, this is real. This is real. Like, this is an actual thing. And I'm tripping because I thought I was just making this ritual up, and it's an actual thing I'm seeing right now in front of my face on YouTube. But it's less violent, but still. Anyway, the comments. Oh man, YouTube comments are funnier than the videos. But anyway, well, that wasn't that funny. It wasn't funny, but reading the comments made me laugh, because they're like, yo, it sounds like popcorn popping. Because you just hear slaps. And people are like, yo, there's like 40 guys on one guy, and he still got up and walked away. But anyway, they beat him up, and he gets up after a while, and then he just gets his jacket and he goes up the stairs. And I remember he tries to like put his jacket on, and you just hear like ding, 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 all these like coins falling on the floor, because I guess he had coins in his pocket. And as all these guys were beating him up, the guy who started it, that head guy, the manager guy, was there. He was with like three other people off to the side in the corner. They're all just chatting away, and letting these like 20 other guys like kick this guy's ass. And then he finally just gets up and walks home. And they're saying like, yo, break his head, yo, break his skull. And as he gets up to go up the stairs, he has to walk past those head guys, and then like when he walks past them, they throw some punches at him too. But it was so, I don't know. So that's that. Crazy story. I trip about it. Obviously I trip about it, since I put it in a story time to tell, but I don't know if I should trip about it anymore. Anyway, farewell. Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait. We're watching the stars, looking for the best, but expecting the worst. Are we gonna drop the bomb on